Welcome, everybody. This is the first week of Go for the Gold, and we are prepared to present our first week's topic, which is on sampling. So it's called effective sampling. And many of you remember from the business meeting that I kept using that term. And I want you all to be confident in we are bringing you the best materials from our double presidential and one-time diamond, triple diamond, Elise Shedevy. And she is, at this time, the most successful, couple. They're a couple, Elise and Patrick, in doTERRA. So I'm hoping as we take you through this, you will learn and have positive experiences and change in your business as you implement this. So effective sampling.
So there are several ways that we sample people. Some of us don't sample. So I know there's some of you out there that don't sample a lot. We're going to encourage you to incorporate that as a part of your business. There's lots of ways we meet people. There's friends or people we know. Obviously, that's our warm market. Some of us scan people to determine what oils they need. These are people you might know or you have some sort of contact with ahead of time. Sometimes you meet people by putting a post on Facebook or some other social media. There's people that run into people in the grocery store and you're just very friendly and you reach out to them. Our inclination oftentimes is to figure out how to invite people to a class. And what I picked up from listening to Lisa, coming back from Elise, is we need to rethink that process. We need to be thinking about sampling people before we invite them to a class. After listening to this and going through this with Lisa, I feel it's important that we all understand the psychology of people having a positive oil experience before you invite them to a class or other enrollment event. So today we're going to challenge you to think sample before class.
Exactly. And I would like to, I was remiss, thank Mark very much for putting this together for us and for joining us today. So Elise shared with me the #1 mistake we make as wellness advocates. The #1 mistake wellness advocates make is not waiting for prospects to have a positive experience before coming to a class. Isn't that a change of mind, a good change of mindset that we need?
Yes.
So what is effective sampling? The following is the tested script Elise provided that will show you how to effectively sample people.
So what we're going to go through here, and I'm letting Lisa do most of this because she got to sit at the feet of Elise and hear a lot of this teaching, so I'm second-handed here. But the rest of this is going to be the script of what you can say to help us sample people.
Absolutely.
You can take the words. If it's not comfortable, put it in your own words. But before you do that, try and understand what it is Elise is saying so you're not changing the meaning.
Yes.
We want you to sound like yourself, but we don't want you to miss the point that Elise was trying to teach in this.
And please hold note-taking until the end, because at the end we're going to do a review, and then you can take notes and go through it again.
Right, and we're keeping this video short so that you can watch it a couple of times so that you can make sure that it makes sense. Ask questions if you need to. You can post comments. We'll make a discussion out of it. We want this to become something that after you do it a few times becomes second nature.
Exactly.
So this following is what you're going to say to someone when you're sampling them.
There are a lot of things essential oils are good for. The best is what's bothering you most. For instance, in my case, when I had some head tension, I used peppermint. Tell me, when it comes to ailments bothering you, which would be the most important to see which oil could help you? Is that right, Mark? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Is it?
And that, again, if this is too wordy for you, what you're
Uh-huh.
trying to tell people is that oils are good for lots of things. You're
Yeah.
giving them a personal testimony of you, of something that you had in an oil that you used for it. And then you're asking them, what's the thing that bothers them the most, so you can figure out which oil to sample them.
Exactly. And I think we should address right here, Mark, what are basic ailments that we could give somebody an oil for that they could have an experience immediately?
Oh, I think things like headaches, itching, sleep problems.
Exactly.
What else would you run into with people?
I would say tummy issues.
Yep.
Let's see.
Digestion.
How about anxiety or feeling sleepy, for example? You could put some peppermint and wild orange on their hands, although that's 2 oils and we're coming to something, but something simple.
The point that Elise was trying to teach, if someone gives you a major issue, you know, they've got cancer, or they've got, I'm trying to think of what would be something big. If they've got a big issue,
Thyroid, right?
something that may or may not have a reaction to an oil positively right away or within a couple of days. You want something people have a quick response to. And quick, we're not meaning minutes, although that's great, but quick within a day or so.
Exactly.
So if they give you a condition that's a major issue that might take a week or 2 of oils before they experience something, then Elise has got a phrase here. I want to start with something basic first. Then once you're comfortable working with oils, we can tackle some of those bigger things.
Exactly.
Because everybody's got something, everyone has common issues that they deal with.
Well, I've had people approach me and say, I have diabetes, I have high blood pressure, and we all know those are things that can't be addressed in a day.
Right. They may respond after a week or 2 or a month or 2, but they may not respond within a day or 2. And as you'll see as we get through this, the point of what Elise was trying to teach is you want people to have a positive experience without having to go through this long time frame to get there. You want people to see, oh my gosh, these oils work.
Yes, exactly.
And rather, the other thing that popped out at me on this, Elise's solution is give them 1 oil.
Mm-hmm.
Don't give them 4 or 5 oils to sample. They'll get them mixed up. They may not be able to track which oil did what for them.
That's right.
You're giving them 1 oil for 1 condition, because you're going to increase the chance for them having a positive oil experience by narrowing it down to 1 oil that they go home with.
Exactly. They're going to know what oil it was and how it affected them. Okay, so I'm going to start you with an oil called peppermint for your tummy. It is easy to use, cost-effective, and safe. I'm going to show you how to use it, and it's pennies per drop. I may, and I'm just going to suggest this to you guys because I don't want you to be overwhelmed, but it might be nice to know before you give the oil to your person how many cents per drop it is, if you think that will make a difference. And safe in that we are giving you a natural alternative without side effects. So EOs are similar to OTC, and for those of you who don't know the abbreviation, it's over the counter, and that would be drugs, in one way. When you go to the doctor and the medicine isn't working, what do? You go back to the doctor, knowing that not all medications work the same for every person. EOs are much the same. If peppermint isn't working, that just means we need to try something else. So would you be willing to be patient with me? That's something that's missing in here, Mark, but I'm going to add that when you come back and take your notes. Would you be willing to be patient with me and work with me until we find the one you need? And if they say yes, you give them the sample.
When Lisa shared this with me, this was really eye-opening to me, because I've heard from people on our team who they get stuck. They give people a sample and they come back in a couple of days and they say, well, I tried it and it didn't work.
Yes.
And they're like, now what do I do? You're actually being proactive when you sample people and letting them know that Some people need different oils. We all know that. If you've been doing this long enough, you know that different people respond to oils differently. So you're telling people ahead of time, if this doesn't work, that just means we need to try something else. Don't get discouraged. Don't come back and say it didn't work. It's snake oil. What are you trying to give me here? It's okay.
Yes, absolutely. Because we have an oil that will work. And all of you who have been here for a while know that they cross one another. One oil does a multiple diversity and addresses a diversity of issues. So we will find one that will work for this issue.
So you give them the sample.
Yep. Okay, and then here's how I want you to use it. And if you want to know what else EOs are good for, check out this little book. And I'm going to leave that to you, but my favorite still is to give people the A to Z guide. I have members of my team that use the Modern Essentials. It's a little blurb out of there. It looks more like a bookmark or card, and that can save a few pennies if your budget matters. But I love to give the A to Z guide. So, Mark, I would like you to do this emphases.
I can do that. I do want to jump in with one point first. I use abbreviations to make the text a little easier to read. I'm going to go back a slide. I would encourage you, don't say EOs, say essential oils. This is abbreviations for you.
Exactly.
You can say essential oils are similar to over-the-counter drugs in one way.
Yes.
If we become alphabet soup people and talk about WAs and WCs and EOs and OTC, we've lost them already and they think you work for the government.
Good point, Mark. Thank you.
So the important part that you don't want to skip is you want to say to them, I'm going to call you in 2 days to find out how this worked for you, okay? And you're getting their permission to call them back, because that's another thing I know some of you struggle with. You don't want to bug people. You feel like I'm just bothering them to call them again. Well, if you've asked them, can I call you back? And they say yes, you're not bugging them.
That's
You're
right.
following up to find out how it worked.
That's right.
Then mark it on your calendar, wait your 2 days, and call them back.
Okay. So, Mark, how about we do a little role play here, because that seems to be missing. That was my favorite part with Elise, because, you know, you want to be practicing this as though you're genuine. You may even want to do this with a member of your family, but you want people to hear the excitement in your voice. So I'm picking up the phone. Mark, hello. I'm checking back to see if you've had the opportunity to use the oil yet.
No, I haven't. You know, I've been so busy the past couple of days. I just haven't.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yep.
You know what?
You should have said yes and then
I picked
no.
the wrong response. Of course I use the oils. Yes, Lisa, you told me to. I tried the oils.
Wonderful. Tell me about your experience, Mark.
Well, it was amazing. I put that oil on, just like you said. I had a headache coming on. I put it on. Within like a minute or two, I could feel a headache lifting. It was amazing.
That is fantastic.
We're gonna
So,
stop right there. So we're
yes,
going to
we
go back.
need to stop.
I also could have said, no, I haven't tried them yet.
Okay.
So if someone says no,
All right. This is what we're going to do. Use it tonight, and can I call you back tomorrow morning instead?
of course you can. I will put it on tonight, I promise.
Awesome. Okay. Ring, ring, ring. Answer the phone, Mark.
I'm here. Yeah, what do you want? Hi, Lisa. Quit bugging me.
Okay, so Mark, did you put the oil on? And how was it?
It was great. Again, there's one of two possibles. I can say, it was great, and it worked.
Okay.
Or I can say, no, I still didn't.
Okay. So I tell you what, Mark, I want you to go get that oil right now. Can you do that for me? I'll just stay right here on the phone. You go grab it and bring it back, and let's have you put it on.
Okay.
Okay.
Give me a minute. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Do, 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 do.
I run and put the oil on, and I put it on, and same thing. I can go with some, or I could say, Lisa, I don't have a headache right now, so I can't really put it on.
Well, true. That is very true. So Mark, how often do you get these headaches?
Every couple of days.
Okay, then I'm going to have to follow up with you in a couple of more days. But seriously, let's talk about this now. What if you have given, is that your power adapter or mine? That was
That must be
mine.
yours.
Okay. What if you have given an oil to someone who has intermittent headaches and it's not something they can try right then? You're going to have to determine another time frame. But don't give up. I just want to add right here that sometimes, even in sampling, it can take up to 11 touches before people will really respond to the product that you're sharing with them. So I don't want you to be discouraged, but in this case, let's just say that what somebody is using has to do with sleep. Okay, so we know that if they're going to use that oil, it's something we'll be able to test the following day. Did you sleep better? Did you have a better night's sleep? And again, we do want you sampling people and using basic things, but it really does need to be something that can be tested in a 48-hour period. My favorite sample to go for is Deep Blue. I really push people to find out if they have any muscle aches or pains because I get immediate results with that. Now, allergies is another good one, but again, if they do go and get that sample of Tri-Ease and take it, they're still going to need time before you can test, at least 24 hours before you can test. So on this, you're really going to have to go on a case-by-case basis.
And I think what's important, what I heard from all of this, is you're being patient, you're not getting frustrated.
Right.
Cycling through, unless someone's obviously being resistant and they just don't want to try the oils.
Exactly.
I mean, at some point you may just have to let them go. You can't get everybody.
That's right.
Try and wrap it up in a way so they still want to talk to you and you can sample again down the road. It might just be the wrong time.
Exactly. Exactly.
But give them grace, give them time to try it.
Right.
Frustrated. So one way or the other, they've ended up either trying it right away or it's taken a few days or maybe a couple of weeks, but at some point they've tried it and they had some sort of experience.
Exactly.
You're going to say, tell me how it worked. And they're either going to have had a positive experience or a negative experience. So it's important at the top, repeat back what they told you. So if they, for instance, Lisa would say, so you tried it last night and you slept more than you'd slept before, right? You slept through the night? That's great.
Yes. Exactly.
You can see over there on the positive side, it's got some words you can use. I'm really glad that oil worked that way for you. This is just the tip of the iceberg. I'd love to help you learn more about oils. I'm having an event. I'm having a class. I'm having something this Thursday night. Are you able to come? And this is important. Have your class dates available to find one they can make.
Exactly.
I have found it helpful rather than having just one class date. If you say to people, I'm having a class on Thursday or Saturday, which one works better for you?
Exactly.
Rather than one date and they can't make it, then it's just kind of uncomfortable.
Yes.
This is if someone's had a positive experience. What if they say, I tried the oil and it really didn't work? You told me to try peppermint for my headache, Lisa, and it didn't work.
Yes. So, okay, let's do this. Do you remember that I told you not everyone is the same? If you'll be patient with me, we'll find something that works. I have another oil. Let me bring over another sample. So, and you repeat until you have a positive experience. And look at the bottom. Don't invite until prospect has a positive experience. Now, so far, what we've done, and we're going to address sampling over the whole course of the week, but we are looking for people in our backyard. Can you see how that's going to be really important? That's what you're looking for right now. We will address what you do if you're sending a mailing and it's going across the US, because of course it's not going to be effective to continue mailing samples. So we'll discuss that when we get to it, okay?
So the point here that I've seen from all this is that one way or the other, they're either having a positive experience in the first oil or you're repeating it until they have one. You're finding something that works, that gives them an idea that oils really do work.
Exactly.
Inviting them to a class.
Yes.
And it's important because sampling leads to a class invitation. So you should always have classes scheduled. That way you can invite people to them. Diane Shepard used to say she always had classes scheduled, and if it turns out she had no one to invite, that turned out to be extra time she had that she could devote to her business. She didn't have a class that night, so she had a couple hours she could spend on other doTERRA things.
Yes.
So it doesn't hurt to have a class scheduled.
Yes.
So one of the things you're going to want to do is schedule at least 2 to 3 classes now so you have them ready to invite people to. Or be ready to set up a one-on-one if that's what you like to do. There's different ways you can enroll people. Some people love classes, some people like to do one-on-ones. But at the end of sampling, you have to have something to direct people to.
Yep, agree. So you had the task, but you said it, so we don't have to read that, right? Okay, all right.
So you've now successfully prepared that prospect for a class, because they're going to walk into that class already knowing that oils work. You're not going to have people in front of you at a class wondering what you're talking about, wondering what essential oils are about. They've already experienced oils, so they're one step ahead of everyone else.
That's right.
We're just cold inviting people to a class, hoping they'll have an experience in the middle of class.
Okay, so the class reminder sequence. You're going to call 2 days prior to the class. I just wanted to call and tell you how excited I am. I know it's going to change your life. A few of you I have coached on getting people to classes, and I want to remind you that it's always 2 hours before the class that people really make up their mind on attendance. Elise gave us this little trick. Text 2 hours prior to the class saying, I'm super excited to see you tonight. I have a surprise for you. Now, the funny thing is, sometimes it wasn't anything that was really significant. It was just maybe, oh, I made this thing and I wanted to share it with you, which was part of the snack for the class. Or maybe you picked up a protocol, an oil protocol that you think would be relevant to them. Whatever it is, it doesn't have to be a bottle of frankincense or a bottle of, it's nothing like that. It's just saying, I have a surprise for you. And if they say, a surprise, what is it? And you say, it's a surprise. You have to come and find out what it is. And you leave it up, I leave it up to you, she leaves it up to you to decide what kind of a surprise. But again, doesn't have to be anything elaborate, but when you say that, people come. 80% attendance rate happens from this form of sampling, from doing it exactly the way she shared. There were a couple of things that wasn't communicated to Mark through the flow chart that he took this from. But when you call people, they need to hear the excitement in your voice. And if you say something like, you know, I have 20 samples that I am giving out, and you were the first person that came to my mind. If you begin from the beginning, imparting value to people, they're going to feel validated and they're going to be excited about wanting to know more.
Oops, there we go. So this is the part we said we're going to go back through those steps and review it, because it may seem, if you've not done this before, it can seem overwhelming. So we're going to try and make this a little simpler than all those slides. So you start by talking to people and narrowing down to one oil for a common issue. You're going to prepare them for a possible non-response to the oil. That's reminding them that just like over-the-counter drugs, Some people respond differently, so you let them know ahead of time that if it doesn't work, it's okay. We're going to try another oil. You're going to call them back in a couple of days and say, did you use it? And they're going to say, nope. Or they're going to say, I had a negative experience. Give them a new oil.
Yes.
If they used it, great. What was your experience? Now, if here they had a negative experience, that's when you're going to give them another oil. You're going to go back to that over-the-counter drug and say, that's good, or it's not good, that's okay. We're going to try something else and find something that works.
Exactly.
You keep doing that until they have a positive experience.
Yep.
Once they've had a positive experience, invite them to a class or an event, and that can be a class, a one-on-one, a Facebook class, whatever enrollment opportunity you have. But the idea that I learned from this through Lisa and Elise is they don't get there without having a positive oil experience first.
Yes. Yes. You don't want someone who's had a negative experience at your class.
Yeah, the last thing you want is someone in class going, well, I tried it and it didn't work for me.
Exactly. Exactly. That's just, it's not a good thing. Honest, it's not. So, okay. In review, we want to emphasize this again. The number one mistake wellness advocates make is not waiting for prospects to have a positive experience before coming to a class. One of the strengths in building your doTERRA business, everybody, is patience. It really is. In the business training, I shared with you what it looks like to find a capable and committed business builder. And the same is true when you're inviting people to class. You want to invite people who have had a positive experience and who bring that kind of energy to the class, and your classes will be so happy and successful. So we're looking forward to getting you started off strong in this week. And please make notes or comments, questions. Please put them underneath this thread, and we will address them as they come in. Thanks for joining us.
All right. Thank you, guys.